And welcome to episode 72 of the Terrorisk podcast. I'm with Dimitri, and we were just talking about the world famous song by Immortal Technique, where it's about the guy who raped his own mom.
What's it called?
Dance with the Devil.
Right.
He's like, the song literally starts out like, I once knew a N-word whose real name was William. His primary concern was making $1 million. Yo, Immortal Technique is so trash. Like, I'm sorry. He's like,
I mean, back in the day, that was like the thing. When you're like a kid and you hear that, and you're like, yo.
Yeah, but that is like edgelord supreme music.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
But it was funny because I also had girls in high school, like legit girls who were older than me and who I had crushes on. They're like, yo, Chris, you're about to hear the most craziest, deepest song you've ever heard.
Dude, that's the meme. That's the meme.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yo, have you heard this crazy song by Immortal Technique called and especially as a New Yorker, because New Yorkers really put that shit up on a pedestal, right? Like, because Immortal Technique is a Harlem dude.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But that's the only reason why he's a Hispanic man that's allowed to say,
Bro, I don't know anything about Immortal Technique. Where are you getting all this info
Immortal
from?
Technique is a Hispanic artist, Hispanic hip hop artist from New York City, and he's got the N-word pass.
Wow. Unironically.
You didn't know he was Latino?
I don't know anything about him except he wrote that one song.
All right, he's Immortal Technique. He's the guy.
Honestly, if you told me he was Asian, I would have believed you. Because Immortal Technique sounds like an Asian, like, kung fu thing.
Well, Latinos and...
If you told me the Wu-Tang Clan was Asian, I would have believed you.
Latinos and Asians have a lot of genetic crossover, I think.
It's possible.
What else? Who else was I thinking about that's real? You don't know Necro, though, right?
No.
Necro is this, like, white Jewish guy also from New York City. I don't know if he's Russian. He's probably East European, but he's really good. Like...
Yeah.
I gotta show you some of his songs. You'll be like blown away. You'll be like, holy shit, this is actually really good shit.
All right.
Because I know you like some like out there stuff.
Well, I was going to say, what's your take on non-black artists getting successful in rap without being able to say the N-word? I think that's pretty impressive. So many black artists just rely on the N-word in like all the rap music. So like if you're a white guy and you make it without saying the N-word, I feel like that's like hard mode, you know?
I think rap is a fucking joke now. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I just do.
Wow.
I love it. I love rap music. I love consuming it. I love listening to it, but I never take it seriously. I really don't. I don't listen to rap music and ever think this song changes my life. This song really elevates my way of thinking. Like the song.
Well, have you heard the one where the guy like wakes up in a new Bugatti? Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
You know what? Fine. I'll give it a chance.
No,
Yeah.
but what do you think of the question though?
So I don't think it's that impressive. I'm just
No?
like, he's literally like, what is rap mostly? What are the values of rap music?
Well, depends on the artist. I
Excess.
guess.
You could say material excess is one of them.
So you're talking about the rap culture.
Well, the music is intricately tied with the culture, right?
I thought you meant like technical shit.
Yeah, but rap is only so technical. It's mostly just like chopped loops and samples at this point.
Yeah. But like, yeah, if you're talking about
Well,
like
now you don't even
hip-hop
need to chop the
culture-
loop and samples. Now you could just the technicals of the culture.
No, I thought you meant like, whatever. Yeah, okay. What is the culture of rap value? Yeah, I don't know.
Consumerism, warlord mentality, excess. Like.
Well, maybe in the 90s. I don't know what they value these days. Like, what the fuck do SoundCloud rappers sing about?
Being as gay as possible, but also having money to spend on like makeup for boys.
Do they really? I don't know. Like, I haven't heard it.
Well, I'll say this much: I don't think it's rap's fault. I
don't
think
think
rap
it
is
is
just.
rap's
I don't think rap is just a tool now used by like forces that want to keep us gay and oppressed.
What do you mean keep us gay? What do you confess?
I'm just saying. Like nobody. Like, all right. It's a little weird, for example, that like most male role models are either movie stars or like rappers or some shit nowadays,
Yeah, but as opposed to who?
Scientists,
yeah,
environmentalists.
Well, hold on. We just had Oppenheimer come out. Does
Yeah,
anyone
that
want
guy's
to?
dead?
Does anyone want to be like Oppenheimer now? Is that like a role model? Is someone like, I want to be the destroyer of worlds? Ha ha ha.
You know, it is kind of fucked up,
That might be
actually.
cool,
It is kind of fucked up that pro athletes and shit and rappers are paid more than scientists and like physicists. That's fucked up.
Depends on the scientist, but yeah.
Well, then you could easily say it depends on the rapper or depends on the fucking. But to this day, like, you know, still, like, I think per net, overall net, like, I think athletes and entertainers are paid more than like scientists and physicists.
True.
It's just fucked up. It's not good. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, but here's the thing: you're looking at like the top of the top rappers and athletes, right? Like, if you look at the top of the top scientists, they're probably making bank. They probably like aren't even necessarily doing science. They're probably like running labs and getting grants.
No, I think at the top of the top scientists are probably working on shit that we're just not allowed to even ever comprehend.
Maybe that too.
I really do think that.
But,
so maybe they're beyond it. But at the same time, if you're in that position, your life is hell. You can't talk about anything. You can't talk about shit with your family, with your wife, with your friends. Like,
well,
you can't.
Hold on. Do you know any people in the military? Like, people that do work on, like, military contractor projects?
Not even. What I do know, though,
Okay,
I do know people. I know people that work on very low level shit on a federal level. Like, I know like low level NSA agents, feds, FBI agents. Not personally. Like, well, I met them, but it's not like I keep correspondence with them. I only know them because my aunt, my father's sister, is an accountant. And she's a private accountant, and most of her clients are like ex-CIA, ex-FBI, ex-NSA, like, you know, just old retired guys that just want, you know, they live in Princeton, they want an accountant. So she's like the go-to. So like what I do know is that even those guys, and most of these guys did benign work for like the federal, and yet they're still under so much shit. Like, if they even let the slightest thing spill about their benign expense records maybe while they were in the service, like that apparently could get a lot of people into trouble, you know. So it's like, that being said, yeah, I think I do think like it's that crazy, you know.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the military sector. There's plenty of
no, but I know plenty of dudes.
Like,
I'm not like I'm talking about.
too.
There's a clear line between intelligence agencies and military branches. Like, I know plenty of dudes in the military who are just like complete absolute dickheads about
but
their
I'm
shit.
just saying, there's like private scientists, right? Like, if you're a scientist for Google, if you're a scientist for, I don't know, like Pfizer. If you're a scientist for DuPont.
Right. So you're saying you're trying to like distinguish the idea that the private sector is not under the influence of the public or the government in any way whatsoever.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying those people make bank.
Yeah,
and
but
they can talk about it.
But you know who makes the most bank? Like companies like Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and shit like that.
Well, I actually don't know. I don't know how much they make for that. I know
Well,
they get big money.
Those guys don't worry about money. Apparently, those guys are like working on like reverse engineering UFOs and shit, according to like whistleblowers that are coming out.
Well, dude, having worked with military contractors, I will tell you some insider secrets if you really want to hear. But make sure this doesn't get back to me, even though it's on a podcast.
Yeah, sure, whatever. What do you got?
Okay, so apparently it's really hard for the government to get a military contractor to do anything.
What do you mean?
Like, you would think they'd just be like, we're going to pay you money and you're going to make us a thing. No, that is not how it works. Like, if you have, like, Lockheed Martin and the government needs something, Lockheed Martin's like, oh, you need something? Well, it's $1 million to talk to us. They're like, also,
okay.
You know, like,
So
there's going to be, like, $1 billion.
All right.
Miles of paperwork.
So I'm of the understanding that when it comes to like the real top secret shit that the government needs either reverse engineered or they have to like contract work out to private.
I never did that. I'm
so
just saying from normal.
So what I understand is that when it comes to those kinds of quote unquote projects, what they do to keep it secret, and this is and I could imagine this to be very effective. Let's say they have hypothetically, let's say the government wanted to reverse engineer a UFO or even an alien sample of a synthetic material that they've never seen on this planet. It's clearly alien or extraterrestrial. They need to figure this out. So what they do is they will compartmentalize every aspect of it as much as possible.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
call it
that's
like
the
a
thing.
stovetop
Yeah.
thing, you know, like where they would be like, just so no one gets the full picture. Like, let's say I want to reverse engineer the UFO. What they'll
Yeah.
do is they'll strip it down to every fucking basic element. So they'll have like, say like you know, like a university work on like breaking down the chemical compound of a weird material they found, and then they'll have another company that just like works in terms of like theoretical thrust technology, and they'll have another company that works on like, you know, like structural integrity of aircraft and aerospace and like you know, like
that's sort of true, but I'm saying like for normal shit, it's not exact.
I'm just saying that would be the most effective way to keep secret shit secret while having the private sector help. You know, that's how easy it is. You don't have to like make it like this conspiratorial, like one big thing that one company has complete like oversight over. All you got to do is just break it up and make them blind to each other as to what they're actually doing, just by like breaking into smaller parts.
The problem is, you know, it's like the whole parts of an elephant scenario. Like,
yeah,
you're
like
not
six
gonna-
blind men touching an elephant and then describing the elephant. Yeah, I get that.
Right, so you're not going to get a really good reverse engineer out of that. You still need someone to put the pieces together.
Well, that's the scary part. It's like, who is that guy? You know, and it's like no one
No, they
would know.
probably have those guys, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, generally speaking, like, I'm saying for normal, like, military contracts, right? Like, let's say the government needs a new vehicle developed.
Oh, that's stupid shit though. That's like whatever.
What do you
You know,
mean?
like, no, I'm just saying like that's not really hard to do.
Well, yeah, but the government will have a hard time getting it done.
No, what the government will have a hard time with, honestly, when it comes to like shit, like base level shit, like material shit, like making vehicles, making weapons. The government's main problem with that is having too many samples to choose from. Like, let's say a government needs like a high tech field rifle produced for their next generation of Marines for 2025. You know what happens? You'll have Springfield Armies, you'll have Armalite, you'll have a bunch of dudes coming out with like competing over that contract. It's like they'll have like designs and designs like already pulling out of their ass. Like,
Dude, no, let me tell you, it's not exactly how that works.
well, because now we're so, you know what, the way I see it now, the government has been working with like certain private industries who all alone have like probably like history in the government themselves. You know, like they've had so much history with them where there might as well be no competition. It might as well just be a monopoly. That's what it is.
It's not even competition or monopoly. The fundamental problem, in my opinion, is that the government has a giant funnel of other people's money.
Obviously.
So, well, but this is like a big point because
we lost trillions and trillions of dollars that we have no idea where it went. Yeah.
oh, they know where it went, but
Well,
that's not.
we
the
don't
point.
know where it went.
Yeah, but they know where it went.
Yeah, of course
they probably know where it went. But no, my point is like, you know, the bureaucrats who are responsible for allocating this funding are, you know, they don't have a lot of incentive to be cheap, per se. Right? It's like, you know, oh, I'm going to allocate, you know, $100 million to a company. I only make like $80K a year. Am I going to look for like the cheapest, best contractor? Kinda. But, you know, there's only so much I could do. So all the contractors are like, cool, you want something done, you know, $1 million to talk to us. Okay, we pay $1 million. What do you want? Describe it exactly. Okay, we're going to spend 2 years describing exactly what we want. Okay, start building it. This isn't working. Well, too bad. You spent 2 years describing it. So we're going to build you exactly this thing. If you want to change it, that's another $1 million to talk about it. And another year to figure out if we could do this change. Ha ha ha. Blah, blah, blah. And then you get like whatever the fuck you get.
Yeah, but like that's like, yeah, I agree with that. I probably do agree. It's probably like, but I think that's for like certain level, like a certain degree of like necessities. Like, you know, like let's say this is a process they do for like they're trying to design new like rations for their field soldiers, or they're trying to design like new like thermal blankets, you know, for like field operators to go out with. You know, something lightweight but also very warm, very durable. Maybe they're trying to like get a more compact version of night vision goggles, not goggles, like they want night vision glasses, you know, for example, like shit like that. Yeah, like, yeah, I agree. Like stuff like that, there'll be so much room for that, of course, 100%. And that sucks. I would hate to be caught in that kind of like bureaucratic
Agreed.
tangle.
But that's the thing. There's so many laws about what the military can and can't do when they talk to like private contractors.
Of course, yeah.
That,
but at least for certain
it's
things,
really
like,
hard for them. To say
but for
anything
guns and vehicles, it is probably really that fucking stupid. Because, like, I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's not even like, yes, there was Springfield Armories, there was Smith and Wesson. You know, like, those guys are really old school guys. But
yeah, sure.
I mean, like, now you just look at, like, not even new companies but offshoots of those companies. Like, so many people are making really, really good stuff. Like, not just guns, but we're also talking like bulletproof safety protection gear.
Well, no, I'm not saying good stuff doesn't get made. I'm just saying, like,
no, now it's so abundantly made where, like, something that's, like, tactically, it's gotten to the point where something that's, like, tactically compliant with, like standards of, like, you know, within, like, military operations, it's now available for civilians. Like, you see this shit, like, advertised to people on, like, you know, like, Facebook. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, oftentimes when companies do make good stuff, they want to be able to sell it to civilians. They don't just want to put it to the military.
Yeah.
And that's, like, a big thing usually. But it really depends on what they're making.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's really,
like,
are you making communications tech? Are you making, like, guns? Are you making vehicles? Are you making, like,
no? But, like, if you're making, like, a screen for a helicopter, right, and it's like a very special helicopter screen, right? It's gonna be, you know, talk to us for a year about exactly what kind of screen you want, and you're gonna have all these dumb requirements.
You know what?
You're gonna charge $1 million to meet all those dumb requirements.
Yo, you know where I think it's really where things get really weird?
What?
Aerospace stuff, like drones and stuff. I think that's where things get really black. Like that's where things get really, like.
I wouldn't say so.
I think so.
Why?
All right, so let's say you, as a privatized company, had the resources and technology to be able to create a drone that just literally could not be seen by the naked eye.
Yeah, okay, it's like Lockheed.
Yeah.
Okay, or Raytheon. Yeah.
So come on, but, like, do we hear about that every day? No, because they don't want that shit getting out there. They don't want, that's top secret stuff. But you know they probably have it, right?
Cannot be seen by the naked eye. It's possible.
All right, well, let's say cannot be seen by the naked eye on like past 100 feet. That's already, like, still really fucking valuable, you know, like.
I'd say maybe like 1,000 feet.
Or even 1,000 feet. That's still insane. Like, if you could hide something that could fly, and that can't be seen by the naked eye 1,000 feet away, that's insane. Like, that's scary. And on top of it, not only can it not be seen by the naked eye, but it can't be detected thermally. It can't be detected through, like, electromagnetic sensors. It can't be detected through infrared. It just can't be detected.
I don't think there's anything that good.
We don't know.
There could be.
There could be.
There's got to be some weaknesses. This is reality after all.
Yeah, but reality has, like, layers to it. You know, for some people, they think reality is, like, nothing past, like, what their gang member
no, but
tells
I mean,
them.
you're still bound by the laws of physics.
Oh yeah, that's true. But even the laws of physics get a little weird. Or we just don't know enough about physics. You know, like.
You have a pretty good idea.
You
think there's
so?
like government physics secrets?
Oh, I mean, they probably know a lot more stuff than, like, you know, universities do even.
It's possible. I don't know.
I do know the government does not slack on like research, like diving into shit. Like, you know, like, the government's weird like that. They'll be like, oh, what, our enemies are diving into, like, esoteric knowledge? We're gonna dive into esoteric knowledge. Oh, our enemy believes that, like, they could utilize psychic warriors. We're gonna have our own psychic division. You know, like, they like, that's literally how the governments work. Like, it's like if their enemy or potential enemies are, like, getting into stuff, they're just gonna fucking do it themselves and better. They're gonna try to do it better. You know?
Maybe.
Like, if you were America and you saw, like, you know, and it was World War II, and you saw the Nazis getting into, like, occult shit, like Satanism or, like, you know, alchemy,
well,
or
if you're a proper atheist, you'll be like, "Whew, good thing they're wasting their resources."
No, if you're a proper atheist, you would say, like, all right, well, actually, fuck being an atheist. Atheism is stupid. I don't like it.
Okay.
I like agnosticism. You know, that's nice.
That's fair.
But atheism is just
Gnosticism.
Gnosticism is hardcore shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the concept of NPCs comes from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because in Gnosticism, there's this concept of 3 kinds of, like, humans that roam the earth. You know,
didn't we talk about this in the Veil conversation?
Yeah, brief. Like, I think so. But, like, apparently there's it starts the Hylics. then it starts with the psychics, and then it starts with the pneumatics.
What? Okay, we didn't talk about that.
Okay, so first let's go with the pneumatics. The pneumatics are the people that are born who are just born intuitively like spiritual. Like they know they identify as soul. They come into this world, and that's why they have a really hard time with life, because they're just, not as materially attached to, third density. And then there's the psychics. The psychics are people who weren't aware of that they were spiritual creatures or a souled individual going through a human experience, but eventually they were made to see it. They were like, holy shit, I finally realized, like, this is what we are. And then there's the Hylics. Apparently the Hylics are like people who have no souls. All
right, that's a little weird.
Yeah, people who have no souls. They're just material. They're unable to perceive a meta narrative. They just incapable of perceiving like being a souled individual. To them, they are just their natural responses, their natural reactions, their bodies. Like they can't perceive the possibility or the idea of like living beyond your body. They're just pure materialists.
Right.
And like that's and this is a concept of Gnosticism. It's like saying the quote was like those who see, those who are made to see, and those who do not see. And that's like
do not see.
That's the idea of an NPC, a non-player character, a person who cannot, who doesn't have a soul, basically, just a human body, just going through the motions of eat, drink, shit, fuck, sleep. That's it. That's all I do.
Well, technically speaking, if you believe in reincarnation, would that mean there is a finite amount of souls that can, only get bodies, and then the rest of the people are just like, extraneous somehow?
I don't know. I don't even know if I do believe in reincarnation.
No, I'm just thinking.
I know that this is what the Gnostics believe.
Is there
this
like
is what
new
Gnosticism says?
beings created all the time that get reincarnated, or is it like the collective sum of all the animals and insects all have souls, and like you go from insect to human, but there's like a bajillion million insects, so it doesn't even matter. But then there's like more and more. There's more and more life as life goes on.
I think the biggest thing we have to
be
contend with is the idea of like linear time. Like, we have to somehow get over this idea of like we're only moving in one straight line in one direction. Somehow people have to learn how to perceive not like the world or not everything, like not time, objective time travel. They have to learn how to perceive their own life from beginning, present, or like past, present, and future at the same time. That's the way to like become like a quantum being. That's the way that those advanced beings would think. They don't think in terms of like, oh, this is what I want to do. I got to do this. I got to eventually do this. What they're thinking in terms of is like, I did that. I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it, and I haven't done it at the same time. It's like they're thinking. They don't exist in a state of like, oh, this is gonna happen because
of
this.
I feel like you need perfect information for that. You don't know what's gonna happen to you in the future.
But all right, so what you can do, a good workaround to that,
recollection
a good workaround to that problem is where you could say there's no such thing as perfect information because there's no such thing as perfect reality.
Yeah,
if you look at it from the perspective where your reality is determined by your own mental and emotional state, that's projected outwards, and then that's what generates your experience within this reality. Then suddenly the dynamics like of control tip more into your favor. And I'm not saying like you're wrong necessarily in terms of that limitation. For all I know, I could be wrong. Maybe it's not really. Maybe we don't have that power, where it's not really us, our emotional states determining our reality. Maybe it is. Maybe we are just a product of our environments. But from my personal belief, my experiences, and like what I've been listening to from other people who've like got to where they were, it really does sound like your own emotional state has more influence on your experience in this life than like external factors like where you're born and who you have to deal with. I really think it's more so you. I do think like people's the quality of life experience is more determined on like the individual self than external factors. I mean, yes, you could go through hard shit, of course.
I don't know. I would say they're like probably inextricably linked.
Yeah, that too. They're like 50-50.
Oh, I don't even know. Like, it's you.
Maybe it is 100% and 100%. Maybe it's just parallel truths, working together.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you are always in your environment.
At the same time, the environment is always affecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, if I looked at my like bare leg today, it's like all like with like claw marks. He just, oh man, I gotta clip his nails.
Yeah,
But I don't want to do that. I feel like it's just undignified to do that to a cat.
like give him the scratchy post or whatever.
Yeah, that's what he does. He scratches a lot. He scratches his little posties.
Scratches you.
And scratches me.
What
Yeah.
were we talking about?
We're talking about
We're
talking about some deep shit. We're doing some deep diving right now into like
Of course we
5-dimensional
are.
thinking. All right, there's third dimensional thinking where all you're thinking about is your next meal, your next paycheck, your next fuck, your next shit, your next sleep, your next drink. It's all just like animalistic pleasures of the flesh, of material existence. And then there's, the fourth dimension where you start caring about how you feel about things, like, oh, this makes you feel bad, or does this make you feel bad? You start empathizing. Then there's 5D where you feel the oneness and the connectedness. It's almost like there's no point of like differentiating empathy and non-empathy, because like we're all connected ultimately. Like I'm just another version of you, just happen to be planted in a different body. We're all souled individuals. Like that's the whole idea of transitioning from like third dimension
Sure.
to fifth dimension. Like I don't know if I necessarily believe in that, but like lately I've been like coming across different layered interpretations, so to speak. Like
right. But
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the topic of the military contractor stuff, I guess.
yes,
I was gonna.
Outer Haven, big boss.
No, you know what I was thinking about recently?
Do
You
tell.
know what's one of the biggest actual conspiracies? Did I tell you this? The whole thing with the frickin' printer dots.
No, tell me.
Okay, do you know how back in the day you couldn't counterfeit money on a printer?
Okay, yeah.
Do you know how you couldn't?
Because money isn't really made of paper; it's made of cloth.
No, but like in general, like supposedly they were like, oh, like if you try to counterfeit money, the FBI will track you down. Apparently they do. Like
Really?
Yeah, they're basically every printer.
That picks up the U.S. dollar.
No. I'm saying every printer, like paper printer, had a secret little thing where it printed dots on everything you printed that identified which printer they came out of. And this was like a legitimate secret that no one knew about.
What do you mean? Wait. So why is this? So what? Wait, you're saying like each printer would pick up secret dots? You said.
Well, it would print secret dots, yeah.
What do you mean print secret dots? What's the significance of these dots?
If you decoded them, they will tell you what printer printed the document at what time and like all kinds of information.
So what's the significance of that?
So like if you ever printed money or you ever printed like, you ever wanted to leak a document secretly,
They'll
be like,
always be able to track it.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And no one knew until like 2000 something.
So you think that's a really significant secret?
I think that's like an actual conspiracy that's been, revealed.
Okay.
How the hell did they make it so that every printer manufacturer did this without like letting everyone know about it?
That's a good point.
That's crazy.
That is pretty insane.
But that's like a real thing.
It's been proven, basically.
Yeah. You could see the dots once you know where to look.
Okay. That's good. No, I like that. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Shit.
You didn't know about that?
Well, that extends to beyond just like counterfeit money. That extends
that's what
to
I'm
like
saying.
that extends to serious shit. Yeah.
Like they could just track you down. If you print something they don't like. If you print some resistance articles, right, about how to make a bomb, they'll be like, it's this printer.
Personally, I'm of the belief that the government literally has the ability to send assets to different points in time, but that just makes me sound insane. Like,
I would disagree.
yeah,
Or no, I don't think time travel is possible.
I think it is.
I think fundamentally you end up with a paradox. I don't think you could possibly do it.
I don't think it's about like traveling through one linear line of time. I think it's about like creating alternate realities and
Okay,
shit.
let me put it to you like this. I thought a lot about future prediction, right? And
Yeah.
fundamentally, you run into a paradox when it comes to predicting the future. So, okay, let's say, like, I predict that you're going to be hit by a car,
Okay.
right? There's technically 4 outcomes, right?
I get hit by a car.
No, so I tell you, like, I make the prediction. Chris is going to get hit by a car.
Yeah.
You go and you get hit by a car,
Yeah.
right? Or I tell you getting hit by a car,
And I don't get hit by a
yeah,
car.
because now you know to avoid this. Or I don't tell you, and you get hit by a car,
Or you don't tell me and I do get hit by a car.
and then you don't.
Don't get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're in this like, how do you know that your prediction came true? Because once you put it out there, you basically influence the chain of events.
Yeah, you do. You do
So,
influence
like-
the chain of events.
So I'm saying, like, you know, if you, like, the fundamental question becomes, if you never told Chris that he was going to get hit by a car, would he still get hit by a car? Or if you did, would he not?
No, the real question is there a higher chance of him getting hit by a car after you tell him?
It's not even a chance thing because this is future prediction.
I'm just saying.
You're getting this with certainty.
No, think about that concept. Like, let's say you do tell me about the prediction. The question is, you telling me about the prediction, will it increase the chances just from you telling me about it? I
Well,
think it will.
But you don't know.
I think it will, though.
But that's the paradox. How do you know if it does or doesn't?
It's faith. Do you believe that your emotions and your intentions can influence the actual reality
Sure.
that you live in?
But that's a distinct issue from future prediction. Now you're making the reality,
Yeah.
or making the future,
Yes.
as opposed to predicting it.
But that's true, though. I think predicting the future is kind of like misguided. I think it's kind of like, it's not about like, because if you think of predicting the future, you're gonna think of it. Some people think of it in terms of like, there's a set story, and I know exactly how that set story is gonna play out for everyone.
Well, that is the idea, yeah.
Whereas there's also like clairsent, or I think it's clairvoyance, or whatever you call it.
Sure.
This is not like that. It's not in a sense where like I look at a person and like I'm gonna know their entire future just because I know how the entire objective story
Yeah,
plays.
okay.
There's just a sense where it's like, if you keep living the way you do, you're gonna be dead in 6 months. I fucking guarantee it.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
That's
with that.
like, that's a real thing. Like,
Yes.
that's a real fucking thing, and that's not. First of all, that's not like, you know, ascribing to an objective linear story that's gonna come true. Is it literally just paying enough attention?
Yeah, that's
to
cause and effect.
Yes. But it's an advanced form of cause and effect, because you're predicting beyond just like the next 5 minutes. You're literally saying, if you keep doing what you're doing in the next 6 months, I guarantee you'll be dead.
Well, you can't guarantee it, but yes.
But
If
you
anything-
basically can, though.
Well, if anything, the act of saying you guarantee it, no, I'm good, can cause it to be false.
Yeah,
Ironic.
but I have done like this kind of shit before. Not like,
remember.
and I never told them. I didn't tell this person.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, but
I've
like-
done it where it's like, you know, once this person was away, I told the people I was with, I was like, that person's gonna be dead.
Yeah, I was there for that.
But to me, that wasn't like you know, like seeing the future or predicting the future. It was just like an advanced form of like paying attention to the present.
But then the question becomes, what if you told them?
I don't think he would have listened.
Well, you don't know.
I don't think he would have listened.
I'm just
But I
saying,
don't know. You're right. I'll never know.
that's
You're right.
the
You're right. I'll
paradox,
never know. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like if you.
But what
predict
is
someone's-
weird is that I
Yeah.
didn't tell him. So I'm an example of a person who didn't tell him but said this is
Yeah.
going to happen. That's
Yeah.
like a little rarer than a person who did tell him and it did happen.
Right.
Because that's how you know I didn't influence it at all.
Well, so that I was gonna say.
That's pretty interesting in itself. You know, like I didn't influence it. I didn't make it happen because I didn't fucking make him aware of it at all. But I was present enough to tell
Yeah.
exactly how he was living, to exactly tell who he was and be like, this is going to happen to you.
Yeah, so I was gonna say there is. Basically, what I figured out is that if you want to do true quote unquote prediction.
You got to be in the present. The more present you are, the better
Well,
you
no,
are at
I was
telling
gonna
the
say
future.
you have to be as uninvolved with the scenario as possible.
But that's being present. That's literally just being present as
No,
possible.
I mean like if you want to predict like if the stock market is going to go up or down, like you can't be influencing the stock market. You can only make that call if you have no effect on it. Once you start having an effect on it, then you start manifesting it in either direction.
All right, here's what I say. When it comes to stock market predictions, right? Who do you think has a better chance of predicting the stock market? Someone who just has this gut feeling. They don't need to talk to anyone just because they know the stock market. They've been in it for years. As opposed to a person who doesn't bank on assumption at all. They don't even have any assumption. All they know is they just want to listen. So they go to any people they know. It's like, how do you feel about Johnson & Johnson? I feel great. How do you feel about Johnson & Johnson? I feel pretty good. How do you feel about Johnson & Johnson? I've always used their products when I was a kid. And then you look up their stock prices and they're doing down, they're red for the day. And you're like, huh, well, everyone I spoke to Fellas feels good about Johnson & Johnson. The stock market right now, it's for whatever reason says Johnson & Johnson is red, which means it's cheap. I think if I buy into this right now, I think it'll go up soon. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the day after, but soon. And like, who do you think has a better chance at that point? I think it's the person. It's the latter. I think it's the person.
I don't think it's possible to say.
Really?
Yeah. Okay,
I think the stock market is entirely psychological. Entirely. I think it's 100%
it's driven
psychological.
by psychology for sure, but mass psychology is different from your own psychology.
Yes, but it's still psychology.
Sure. But, okay, here's a fun question. How often have you been wrong about, like, a major thing?
A major thing?
So, like, to give you an example. Remember when the war in Ukraine was about to happen?
Yeah.
And Biden was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, Russia's at the border. Right? I was like, it's probably not going to happen. They're always saying shit. And then it did happen. So I was actually wrong about that. Right? So, like, have you had any experiences like that?
Never in retrospect. Only in the moment. So it's like, for example, I've been wrong about things like where I felt some way presently, but then as soon as like something fucked up about it would happen, I would look back at it like maybe a day after and be like, of course it happened. Of course it fucked up that way. Like I would see things more clear in hindsight. I'd be like, oh,
well,
shit.
Yeah, sure. But I'm saying, okay, I guess that counts. Yeah.
So it's like, like it's
so like, what's an example of that actually?
Like you invest into a project and then it fucks up and then you look back and then you're like, oh shit, of course that would have fucked because I neglected to do this.
Well, no, I'm okay, but that's your involvement in it type deal. I'm talking about like a year removed from it type deal.
Oh yeah, so I've made plenty of bets that didn't work out. I mean, if you want to talk stock trades, just that of it itself, I bought one time I bought $4,000 in options and the next day it was worth like $300.
Oof.
Luckily, I was able to save it from that by making another stupid bet and like went more than 4,000. But like, I've made dumb bets before and lost. Like I've made stupid bets. I've definitely done that.
Okay.
I don't deny it. Like I'll admit to my losses because that's what makes half of it fun. Like you got to
have to be monetary. I just mean like informationally, I guess. Like,
informationally.
Like how about like who did you think was going to win the 2016 election? President.
Trump.
You really thought Trump was going to win?
I thought Trump was going to fucking win.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That was not a popular consensus.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on who you talk to, I guess.
I hoped he didn't win, but I had a feeling he was going to win. Even like people were, it would be like this. Like I got into a lot of fights with my friends. They were like, Hillary Clinton's going to win. And I was like, you're a fucking dumbass. Like I wish I was wrong, but Trump's going to fucking win. Here's why. And then like, I would explain it to them. Like there was every clear indication that Trump was going to I didn't want it. I didn't like it. But the fact was all of Trump's like opponents were just too up their own asses to fully see like he was well on his way to victory. Like, like he was doing the work. He was actually pounding the pavement. And I saw that in plain sight. I was like, how could you not see this? Like he was going to fucking win.
Well, I had not exactly that. I was like, if I look at all the factors, it looks like Trump's going to win, but I still think Hillary's going to win. And I didn't know why I had that like logic at the time. Because this was me being like, mathematically, literally what you said, like Trump's on the pavement, Hillary's up her own ass.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But like I still was like, but it'd be super weird if Trump won though. So it's probably not going to happen like that.
No, I had a feeling. I was pretty sure he was going to fucking win.
Okay.
I mean,
interesting.
I was upset about it, but I still I was kind of laughing because well,
why would you be upset about it?
Yeah, I was laughing because I was like, if we deserve this, that's really what I felt like in 2016. I was like, we totally deserve.
Well, hold on. Did you actually want Hillary Clinton to win?
No, I didn't.
So then why were you exactly upset?
That's why I was laughing. I was like, I thought it was really a satirical moment in American history. I was like, yeah, this is, of course. First of all, The Simpsons predicted it.
Right.
And as long as they predict shit, like they'll always be right.
I mean, like I was upset about both candidates, but I remember I had a feeling Clinton was going to lose like way before she started running even.
Also, another problem is I don't think America can ever have a woman president. Like, I just don't see it happening.
I think they can.
No, I don't think so.
Or we can.
No.
But
America now will never have a woman president. But you know what will have a woman president? I think if America balkanizes, like if America becomes like four Americas, like you have East America, then Northeast, then or like
Yeah, okay.
whatever, semi-east and semi-west and then west. Like I think once America balkanizes, then you'll have like multiple presidents. Then you will definitely you'll have all sorts of presidents. You know, you'll have a female president, you'll have like a Jewish president, you'll have a black president, you have a Latina president. Like
No, I think a female president is possible. I just I don't know who it would be.
no, a female president is not fucking possible.
Not?
In this current paradigm of a singular United States, it's not possible.
It would have to be like a Margaret Thatcher type deal.
First of all, our position as a single country of 50 states that spans from, east to west coast of this section of North America, it's already tenuous at best. This is not going to last. The United States is not going to be 50 states. It's going to balkanize. It has to.
No, I disagree.
There's no way this could sustain it. This is not
Why
happening.
not?
Dude, you see it. You see people it's so stupid to assume that a person from Texas has the same sensibilities and the same needs as a person from fucking New York City. It's like
yes, but the thing is the balkanization does not cut geographically, in my opinion. If it's like rural versus city, right? Like cities are every state has a rural section and a city section, right? So you can't really balkanize across that physically.
No, it's not going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. It's probably going to be weird. Like there's going to be spots. It's going to be like that spot and then this spot and that big spot and this big spot.
But the geography is such a big deal that you can't really successfully do that.
You think so?
No, because then you'd be like, I don't know. Maybe you can, but
I think you can.
would be hard pressed to imagine how that would work. That'd be like.
Put it this way: imagine the Axis powers. God forgive me for saying this, but imagine the Axis powers won World War II.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, and the East Coast, and from going westward would be the Germans, and then from the other would be Japan.
Dude, that's called The Man in the High Castle. That show exists.
Yeah, I know, but it makes sense, right? That's literally how it would go down. It's possible.
Possibly. Well, you don't know if the Germans gonna fuck Japan over. Like, if America could fuck Japan over, why can't Germany fuck Japan over?
Germany would destroy Japan.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. In that scenario, they would have fucking wrecked them.
Unless Japan, really colonized the fuck out of China before anyone noticed.
Yeah.
And, really established the base there.
Because the problem is, once the Allies lost World War II, it would have been a situation where the Germans and Japanese, or the Axis powers, immediately had access to the nuclear weapons. Because assuming they won that would have been assuming that they took shit over before America got to launch their nukes. Because that was the deciding factor. Aside from the fact that Germany fucked up.
I think it was already done. By the time.
Germany fucked up.
No, I'm
Hitler
pretty sure
Hitler fucked up really bad.
Yeah, he shouldn't have killed all those Jews.
Well, he also fucked up by trying to invade Russia.
Yeah, of course. But no, actually, not exactly. Because supposedly I don't know if you know the history, but basically, Germany and Russia had a non-fighting agreement, right? And they were both planning on breaking it. And Hitler beat Stalin, I think, by a week. So Stalin had all his forces mobilized, and Hitler had all his forces mobilized, and Hitler just went first. And because all of Stalin's forces were mobilized, they had no defense. So the whole blitzkrieg strategy just wiped them. And that's why Russia had such a hard time in World War II. Because that initial wave just took out, most of their shit.
Yeah, it was still the Eastern...
And then they just had to, constantly retreat after that.
Yeah, but they still never... I mean, look. Yeah, Russia pulled back to Moscow, right?
Yeah.
Russia literally had to pull back to Moscow. But at the same time... It got to a point where Germany just couldn't handle it. That was the Eastern Front alone. Right. They were also dealing with the Western Front, which was Africa, the West, Europe.
But I'm saying they had really strong initial success. If they didn't do that, Russia was going to attack them.
You know what's funny? Aside from the I've been seeing the. Do you think about the Roman Empire every day?
Oh yeah, of course.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think about the Roman. You know what I do think about? I think about World War II every fucking day. It's insane.
Bro, I think about the present times. Fuck that.
No, all right. The way they're saying oh, all men think about the. No, I think about World War II every day because I don't know why. It's just
Chad take right here.
Is it?
Absolute based unit.
Dude, think about World. First of all, a lot of crazy shit happened in World War II. It was the first truly mechanized. Yes, World War I was mechanized in a sense, but World War II took it to another level.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it's like riflemen were no longer the stars of the show. It was about mortarmen. You know, it was about like artillery guys.
No, actually, that's World War One. World War One was all artillery.
What?
World War One was all artillery.
No,
that's when you had the trenches.
But World War I also still had that like Napoleonic warfare kind of vibe, where it's like dudes like
all trenches, dude.
Yeah, well, yes, trench warfare.
There's no like we're moving in. It's like everyone's bulwarked.
Okay, yes, it was like that, but not everyone had like semi-automatic weapons and fully automatic weapons. Like that was a game changer, you know. Like that made it so a very few small amount of men could do a lot of damage if they just give them all like semi-automatic rifles and like fucking fully automatic submachine guns and shit. And also, you know, you had like more sophisticated tanks.
Well, I think what really changed it was planes. Like
planes
once
too,
you had air
bombers, air superiority.
once you had an air component, like trench warfare became much
obsolete.
Trickier.
Because like it's
wasn't
like
obsolete,
it's like what's the point of a trench line when you have like a huge cargo plane dropping paratroopers like behind your line and you're like fuck.
That
you know, like,
they could also bomb your artillery. They could bomb your trenches. Yeah. They could bomb your capital.
They could literally drop troops wherever the fuck they want as long as they can fly
so
over
holding a line like that made way less sense after that point. Agreed.
Indeed. Yo, that's why World War II was awesome, because it added another dimension, which was the air. It was
well, I wouldn't call it awesome. I'm pretty sure everyone involved did not have a great time. But you know.
But honestly, I feel like every generation in the past that went through a war, you had idiots that signed up and they were like, yeah, I want the adventure and the glory of war, and they go to war and they're like, this is really terrible.
I think it's more like defend your country type shit.
You think so?
Well, look at like Ukraine, right? Like I don't think they want to sign up.
Well, they have really no choice. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like America's different. Like nobody would really dare to attack us. You know, like.
Well, if you have something like Iraq, right, where we legitimately invaded, like, you know, went abroad. You know, did anyone want to sign up for that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
9/11 helped.
Yes.
They made us hate the Middle Eastern people a great deal.
Well, yeah.
It kind of propped it up a good amount.
Well, yeah, that was the inciting incident. Now, my big question is, how is it that, you know, we went to all those other places that weren't necessarily terrorist related? I don't know. I was too young to really read into it back then.
Maybe it's more like we don't want to read into it that deeply, because if we did, we would discover that it's a lot. It's really cynical shit. I mean, sinister shit.
Supposedly there are explanations. I don't know.
They all sound like conspiracy theories.
Maybe.
Well, the thing about conspiracy theories is like you got to ask. Like, point to one time. I mean, where in history did the government stop conspiring? Right? It's like.
Well, yeah, of course.
Can you give me a year? Like, was it 97? Was it 2008? Was it, you know, like, when does the government stop? When did the government exactly stop conspiring against us?
Well, I would say, I think the big problem is we don't fully know the capabilities of, let's say, like, a fairly smart and sociopathic group of people legitimately working together. Like, we don't really know what they're capable of.
Yeah,
it's like hard to imagine as a normal person. A
transnational high-level organization like the 1% with access to like unimaginable resources that we couldn't possibly comprehend. That could, you know, who knows what it could do for them.
Well, I mean, but generally speaking, when you hear about like, I don't know, most billionaires, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're smart, but they're not like that smart. Like, they don't sound that smart. Like, they don't come up with shit that's so different.
How often do you hear the 1% speak? Honestly.
Well, I'm saying, like, let's say like Bill Gates, or
he's not like a really representative of the true
club. So you're thinking of like 0.1% or like 0.01%.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the real deal people of power, like the
Sure.
actual people. And I'm not talking about like a conspiracy theory way. I'm just saying there's always a hierarchy and there's always someone more powerful than the people we see.
I don't know if that's true.
I do. I think
Okay.
there's someone way more powerful than Bill Gates in this fucking world. I don't think Bill Gates runs no shit.
I do think there is, but like I would say Bill Gates is still pretty up there. no?
Yeah, compared to us, from our perspective. But there's people
compared to 99.999%
yeah, but if you look at
of humanity.
his pedigree, he's still a fucking, he comes from hick stock compared to dudes that have been in power for centuries. Like there's families in this world we know confirmed that have been in power for actual centuries.
Sure.
Like in Europe and shit. That's
Yeah. Well, again, the question is, what are they actually capable of?
Exactly. And I think it's probably
It's hard to say.
well, a good place to start would be the Vatican. Look at the Vatican. The Vatican has access to a lot of things that we're just not made to know. But at the same time, that power within the Vatican and that religious structure is like also connected to so many power structures within the West. Every
Yeah.
country, first of all, in Western Europe, is
And yet-
probably directly connected to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good place to start because that has the lineage of like when things got like it's really when the church first started coming into power, the Christian church, because that's what changed the paradigm in a huge way.
Well, I'd say right now, like, religion, Christianity, that's all weakening, though. So what do you make of that?
Well, no, what
Do you
the,
think
what,
that's
what it
like-
really meant, it's like a snake shedding its skin. It's like we don't really need this narrative anymore. Now we have other avenues. Now we have capitalism. Now we have
I
like
see.
consumerism. Like you could
So
easily
you think it's all just different, better or worse ways of controlling people?
yes.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
let's say there's an intelligence that literally feeds off of people's negative energy. Negative energy being low vibrational states. Like I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm paranoid, I hate myself, I hate everyone, I hate everything around me, I hate my life, I hate myself. Like what if there are people that what intelligences that actually feed off of that
No,
frequency?
I wouldn't say that. I would just say people like that are just easier to control. You don't need to get metaphysical here.
That too, you don't need to get metaphysical. You're right, because people like that are way easier to do stupid jobs.
Yeah.
Shitty jobs, and they're better they make better slaves. They literally
Right.
make better slave labor. If it's like it's way easier to make a person a slave if they're miserable with themselves and their lives than it is if they're happy with themselves and their lives. Could you imagine a slave who's happy with themselves? No, you can't.
What about
for a reason.
Sisyphus?
Yes.
I don't know.
So that's the first step in freedom. Freedom is really an inner state, like it's really more so something you have to like give yourself as opposed to like take it from anyone. You can never take your own freedom from anyone at the end of the day. You can only like even after you
You'd be
like
surprised, but okay.
no, you could kill your oppressor, but just because you kill all your oppressors doesn't mean you're free. You could still
Yeah.
enslave yourself.
Well, you could also just physically get enslaved.
That too.
By
But I'm saying you
actual
could not be
forces.
physically enslaved and still be enslaved.
Yeah. You could be mentally enslaved. Sure.
Yes.
You could be,
Maybe
trapped
I'm
in
speaking.
your abuser
Maybe I'm speaking from a point of
by your
privilege
abuser.
because I'm not physically enslaved. I would have opportunities to not be metaphysically enslaved. That is a point of privilege. Point of privilege. Point of privilege. Point of personal privilege.
Okay. Proud
Yes.
of you. Proud of you for admitting your personal privilege.
No. Did you ever see the footage of that DSA meeting?
Yeah. I know.
Point of privilege. Point of personal privilege.
Yep.
Please stop clapping.
Yes.
I love that.
That was a classic.
Yeah, I love that. That was real though. That was
Oh,
pretty-
yeah.
Yeah. But that just
It'd
goes
be
to show-
hard to come up with a sketch comedy. That's better or worse than that.
What do you call that? Stranger Than Fiction? I can't see the time. I think we're at like 53 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go on too much longer.
No. I'm not saying we do. I just wanted to know where we're at.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I thought it was like 30 minutes, but apparently like we're a lot further. You know what they say? Like time goes fast when you're having a good time.
True.
How'd you enjoy your sushi? Did you like your sushi dinner?
Bro, I said it felt like it wasn't as good as usual.
Really?
Yeah, I said that.
That's
are
sad.
you just saying that?
That's like fucking your favorite woman, and then you just one day you're just like, this isn't really hitting the way it used to. I'm sorry. It's like I gotta end this casual sexual relationship.
Well, hold on.
Your sushi bitch.
Women or people, I feel like don't change. Well, I mean, I guess they could change that frequently, that drastically.
Yes.
But like sushi, it's like you
Yep.
get a new chef, you get a new recipe, you
Yep.
get different ingredients.
Get a different cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be different.
Get a different serving. Get a different amount of vinegar in the rice. Get a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
amount of
Like But even with women, like it's
You
not
know
like
that-
every bout of sex is fantastic.
But honestly, like it's actually interesting that we're doing this with sushi because sushi is considered like an aphrodisiac in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, I guess that explains why I'm so horny right now.
Nice. But I'm just saying, like sushi. Also, what's it called? Fucking any food you eat with your hands, like Ethiopian food, African food. So that's why
Yeah.
that's a food you go on with your date. You're just like, ooh,
Oh.
yeah, let's feed each other with our hands. It's sexy.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'll take your
apparently.
word for it.
Apparently, it's intimate. At the very, it's not sexy. It's intimate.
I've never considered that, but I see where you're coming from.
Hmm. So when you have a date, you go on a date, you have burgers, fries, and you just feed each other the fries or something.
Pro gamer moves right here. I see.
No, this is just. You know what your problem is? You're an immigrant.
Yes.
Like if you.
Yeah. In my country, we didn't have forks, so it's just all intimate.
You ever see Hey Arnold?
Yeah.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
I like Hey Arnold a lot. That's a quintessential New York experience encapsulated in a cartoon.
Well, supposedly they actually pieced it together for multiple cities.
Chicago, New York, Toronto.
Yeah, it's like a weird hybrid amalgamation of every city, yet no city.
Oh my god.
Kind of like The Simpsons is every suburb and yet no specific suburb.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Okay.
So I got this friend on Facebook,
Okay.
and they changed their cover photo,
Okay.
and it was like this like painting, or like just this painted picture
Uh-huh.
of a row of Asian women at a nail salon, and they're all getting like pedicures and like whatever by white women.
Okay. Nice.
So it's like a role reversal thing.
Yeah.
And I said it would be funny if it was like there was a version where they had that, but there was all the race and they were all mixed up. And I'll be like, this is like it would be like Martin Luther King Jr.'s fever dream, like
Wow. That's the dream he had
yeah.
when he made that speech.
Yes, where like
I have a dream
where everyone's gonna be doing each other's toenails.
like a sleepover.
Yep, that's
Like
the
a-
dream. Yep,
Yeah. Okay.
it's beautiful, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really get my toenails done. I guess I wouldn't be subject.
Because you're
to
a
this.
fucking man. Are you a heterosexual man or
I
like,
believe I am.
you are?
I think so.
I think so too. For me.
Hot.
For me, I'm saying I don't know. I never assumed anything about like that about other people. Because you know why? I've been in too many situations where I've been totally surprised. I've been in situations where I thought a dude was like totally straight and he turned out to be like a flaming homosexual. And I've been around dudes that I thought was a flaming homosexual, and then we got down to it, and I was like, dude, I'm totally straight. Like I was like, there have been situations like that. I've been into multiple in both instances. So now it's at this point where I'm just like, I don't assume anything about anyone.
I feel like I haven't, and I'm like wondering why.
Because you're just not woke enough.
No, dude, I am in a lot of like progressive spaces, quote unquote.
Because you know why?
But they all just announce what they are all the time, so it's not like I'm ever confused. I don't even have a
That's
chance
true.
to be confused.
I never announce what I am.
Sure.
People
Well, if you don't, they assume you're normal, I guess.
I would just
and
tell
they all
people,
make a big deal out of whatever they are.
I would just tell people I'm a soul having a human experience.
That's called identifying as a white woman.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is for all you listeners out there who like to prop up like pumpkin spice flavored stuff in the season of fall. I just discovered sweet potato flavored things like sweet potato flavored lattes, sweet potato pie,
I just like sweet potato fries. Those
sweet
are
potato
good.
fries.
But
Dude.
those are always a thing.
I think sweet
Yams.
potato is just as fall like, but better than pumpkin spice.
Well, pumpkin spice isn't pumpkins, right? It's just the spice. It's
Is
not
it?
pumpkin flavor.
Have you ever had pumpkin soup?
Yeah.
Never?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you
it's
like
good.
it?
Yeah. With the seeds, even.
Would you rather have your pumpkin soup savory or sweet?
I feel like it's kind of in between, but I prefer it savory.
Savory pumpkin stew.
Are we getting on the ASMR food review train?
No.
Where we just talk about food in like really seductive ways. So the listeners are like,
No.
oh man, I'm hungry now.
No. So we could make pumpkin stew. I just want to know if I made pumpkin stew for you, would I make it savory or sweet?
Savory.
Yeah.
Well, like, really, it's whatever you want if you're baking it.
We're like the boy version of the Red Scare podcast.
Is that what you're going for?
No.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the Red Scare podcast?
Actually, no.
The people on the podcast sound like they're trying to seduce everything in the room.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like totally crazy.
Wow. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. I can't believe this young man is just ruining my love life.
So where did they, like, Red Scare each other?
in 14th Street and 5th Avenue in Manhattan.
No, I mean, where does the Red Scare aspect of the podcast come in?
I don't know. I'm guessing it's a play on like the vague leftists.
Yeah.
Leftist.
So I'm saying, do they do anything leftist or anti-leftist?
Yeah, which is
beyond seduce each other.
They empower people by like raping the airwaves with their impetuous vibe.
Okay, rape empowerment in a metaphorical sense.
In a metaphorical sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're fine. I don't knock the Red Scare podcast. I mean, I'm like, compared to all these any podcasts I know, I'm just like barely a minnow. I'm like a germ. I'm like
That's fine.
I'm like a little tiny thing. But you know, it's fine. Yeah, exactly. What if it's not like that in the next year or 2 years or whatever? Like, who knows what could happen? And maybe I'll be looking back on this and I'll be like, wow, that was simpler times.
Well, look, to quote JPEG Mafia,
you like JPEG Mafia?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to get the quote right because he says it really fast because he raps really fast. He was like, yeah. So he's like, y'all got $1 million deals. Sorry, I ain't got $1 million deals. I still make hits. Y'all got $1 million deals. You just take shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not with it.
You know what I really want to do, though? I want to take a firearms class, you know,
Okay.
and I want to get a concealed carry license in New York State. If I could do that, if I could get a concealed carry license in New York State, I would definitely get a gun.
Well, okay, yeah. Obviously, why else would you get it?
So I get a concealed carry license, I get a gun, and you know what I would do? I would go and become a speed shooter. I would go to those
Yeah,
stupid...
you gotta be honest.
I would go to those stupid redneck competitions where like all the targets would pop up and then they would do the time like beep, and then you know like and I would be like and then, like holster or reload and then just like do the next set.
Here's the thing: if you're Korean, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah, so it'll fit, you know.
Yeah, like demographically, it won't be like that surprising.
No, it'll fit.
Wow, an Asian person that's better than us at something. Who could have anticipated this?
No, I don't think I'll be better. I really do think white dudes are the best shooters in the world. Like I've seen the shit that some of these white dudes can do in the Olympics and stuff, and like
I think that's just because we have more legal guns and therefore more shooters.
But then again, I'm a red-blooded American as well, so who knows? Maybe that alone will give me enough strength to beat them. You know, like maybe just me being a true-blooded American at heart, because I was born in the soil. You know, blood and soil.
Yeah, well, as my dad likes to say, you know, the sport with least injuries is rifle shooting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
They basically don't do anything. They just like be as still as possible.
And then learn how to work their body and mind to manifest a good outcome. It's like, I want to send this little piece of metal through that skull. I mean, or a target. You know, like it's
usually not a skull.
Yeah, it's a target.
Especially in the Olympics.
Yeah. But if you could do that, you know, and I think that takes a lot of discipline.
It does.
And it's not that different from. All right, it's funny, like the sword stuff. It's like I do make it look easy, and like people have like messaged me or commented on Instagram saying, "No offense, but this looks kind of easy." Is it like?
It really does.
It does, yeah.
It's crazy until they try it.
Yeah.
At which point they're like, "Fuck."
I said I would show you some like outtakes, but like I don't know if I'm willing to do that for various reasons. We are about at time, so we could have some. We could close off with some closing statements.
What did we even talk about?
We talked about we just shot the shit, which is fine.
True.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Bochella. You gonna go to Bochella this Saturday?
Hell yeah. Wait, is it this Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few people are gonna be there, I think.
Well, damn. Now I gotta remember what my other plans are.
Fuck that. Come to Coachella. It's gonna be
Maybe
sick.
I'll do both.
Just come to Coachella.
I'm so fucking tired. There's too many thingies
Don't be
going
a
on.
bitch, yo. Just don't be a fucking tool. Just come to Coachella.
Okay. I mean, I probably will.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for coming on. And
Yeah.
you want to
Thanks
say
for having
goodnight?
me. Peace, y'all.
Fuck you.